Terrance Gladney, parent. Um, I think that it is important, as Member Rodriguez spoke earlier, to make sure that we specify things in policy that we want to spell out, but it's just as important is to make sure we fund them. I think that that really establishes our priorities. And when I, as a DAC member, am sitting in a meeting and hear that, certain foster youth positions were only saved because a grant was restored or was re-awarded, that's troubling. Our priorities, we have general fund dollars to do certain things. Why are there dollars still sitting in Common Core unspent? When we look at the LCAP as community members and we're discussing the LCAP independently, it's troubling that we talk about school climate all throughout policy, but we see an increased spending in SROs. We're talking about kids that come from communities in which police officers disenfranchise them, and we're creating that same environment at our school campuses. Again, this is supposed to be the safe haven for some kids, just like we've implemented supper programs because the only meals that some kids receive is at school. We increase those services. Let's increase the number of meals that can institute and create a positive environment and alleviate a lot of these behaviors just by their presence, and show these young men and women the right way to behave and the path to being productive adults. Mr. Vasaya, who's, as he says, is a community advocate, he told me his story about his presence alone reshaped his children's school climate. I can tell you, and any father that's been on a campus can tell you, the feeling of being a superstar just as a male you're there, because that's something that's missing. And when kids see that something is possible, they start to form in their mind a pattern to making that something achievable. So we don't start at the end and say, okay, let's punish the behavior by adding additional officers. We say, what are the underlying behaviors and how we fix them? And we fix that with positive adults like ourselves and like myself on the campus with the kids. Thank you.
Hey, that's all the public comment we have, so Member Hanson.
Thank you. One item that jumped at me right away, and that's just under the recommended changes, the preamble. It says the preamble should be focused on student, educator, and parent rights. I'd like to see us adding the word "and responsibilities." I think that kind of addresses what Terrance and Elizabeth had mentioned earlier. It's not just we talk a lot about rights, and I think we spend probably too much time talking about rights. We have to talk about what responsibilities are too, because we have both. And I want to make sure students know they have responsibilities.